Welcome, everyone, to episode 15. 15 of the Take It with a Grain of Sand podcast. Your hosts are here. I'm Mickey P.
And I'm Ricky P.
And we're here today to talk to you about stuff as we always do in our segments. But first, before I tell you about that, we have a little announcement to make. Don't we, Ricky? We gotta share something with our people.
Yes, we do. We finally beaten the casino heist.
The Diamond Casino heist in
GTA Online.
And man, did it take a long time. How many times did we restart that? Ricky, didn't we play that like 24 times at least?
Yeah.
We were playing that for like multiple sessions, multiple different days. We made it way harder than it needed to be. And our final take was not that much money.
Yeah, but let's just save that story for another time. Right now, we gotta get back to the good stuff. Because we got a SpongeBob episode. We even have... What was that second thing?
We have 2 new segments.
Ooh, 2 new segments. But we're not gonna spoil it here. You gotta keep listening.
Yep.
So let's get started with the first segment.
For this segment, I would like to introduce something new.
What is it?
I would like to talk about what grinds my gears.
Is that a Family Guy reference?
That's a Family Guy reference, and I'm going to do it right here on Take It with a Grain of Sand. And I want to talk about what it is that bothers us about people and life and everything.
Oh, okay.
Ricky, what is your pet peeve?
Well, I already know what really grinds my gears. People leaving doors open.
What? What? Please expand on that.
Okay. We just like to see in a room. Or, like, in a classroom. I hated this when I was, like, in school. It's because, like, it just feels incomplete. It's like, there's a door. It has a function. Like, you open when you want to go in. And when you're in the room, you shut the door. And I'm just like, why is the door open? It's like the one thing that always annoyed me. Like, I always get distracted because there's always a door open in a classroom. And it's like, I want to get up and shut the door. Because it just makes sense for a door to be closed. If everyone's in the room, we close the door. If someone leaves, close the door. If you're feeling hot in a room, open up a window. It's just common sense. Even then, now, I always close the door. Even when I'm alone in the house, I always close the door because it just feels complete to have a closed door. I mean, if there's no one in the room, then it makes sense. But if there's someone
Ricky,
in the room...
This is absolutely ridiculous. This bothers you?
Yes.
Leaving a door open? Maybe
Yes.
they just didn't need any privacy.
Well, you're gonna need privacy anyways.
Not always.
Yeah, but why leave the door
That's
open?
what the door is for. If you don't need privacy, you don't need quiet, you don't have to close the door.
Yeah, but to me, it just kind of feels like something's missing. Like something just feels incomplete about a room.
That's enough of yours.
Okay. Is yours any better?
Yes, I have an actual problem. This does truly grind my gears, and I'm going to tell y'all what it is. it's when I go to the grocery store and everything is family sized. That grinds my gears. I guess I'll let y'all in a little bit. I'm a single woman. I live on my own. And so I'm only buying groceries for myself. But it seems like if you go to a grocery store, everything is in a family-sized package. Like most stuff, you can't get smaller. Like you can only get one size loaf of bread. Right? A whole loaf of bread. Why can't they sell one that's half the size? I don't need a big loaf of bread.
But wait, that's your...
That makes sense because the food goes bad. I can't eat it fast enough. I had to stop buying deli meats. Like turkey and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that only comes in one size. It always goes bad before I can eat all of it. I get maybe 2 or 3 sandwiches out of it, and the rest of it is spoiled. So I had to just stop buying that. How about hot dogs only come in packages of like 8 or 10 or a lot more, but there's not one smaller than 8. Why can't I just buy 2 or 3 hot dogs? I don't need 8 hot dogs. Alright, this is a real thing. Alright, because there's no fixing this. I want someone to sell stuff in a smaller package. I had to stop buying cereal. Because you can only get a whole box of cereal. But my cereal would always get stale before I finished it. So I had to just stop buying cereal.
Yeah.
I can never finish this stuff. I really gravitate towards things like things where you can just use as much as you want. Things that don't go bad, like a box of rice. I'm okay with that because I can leave that sitting in my cabinet forever and just take out what I want.
Yeah, right.
That works, but why can't they sell smaller containers of rice? You know I'm not the only one. I'm not the only person in the world that lives alone. Or like if you're just 2 people in a household.
Yeah.
You don't need a huge size of anything. Especially with meats. The only thing that's good that kind of works out with meats is that you can like separate it. You can open up the package and split it up. But why can't they just sell it smaller? You got to get so much, like, it's too much. This grinds my gears. It's the most frustrating thing going to the grocery store. Anything packaged, stuff that's frozen isn't as bad either because I can just take out what I want, put the rest back in the freezer. But, like, why can't they sell a smaller bag of fries or a smaller bag of chicken nuggets? Or something like those, like, you know, it's very frustrating as just an independent person just trying to take care of themselves. That grinds my gears. How about everyone in the comments let us know if you're in the same boat as me. Because I know I cannot possibly be the only one. Not everybody is living with a family of 4 or 5.
Yes, that's true.
But it's like the grocery store, you can only buy stuff. Most stuff you can only buy in a proportion that's for a family. I'm sure you've noticed that, Ricky. You go grocery shopping.
Yeah, I definitely noticed.
Wouldn't you prefer if they sold stuff smaller?
I'm kind of in the middle of that. Because I want, like, certain things. Like, of course, like, freezer foods, I definitely want to actually have small proportions of. Because they probably tend to go bad a lot faster than just, say, like, cereal, for instance.
No, cereal can go bad pretty quickly. It can get stale in a few weeks.
I only go every...
So if you don't eat cereal every single day, then it's going to be bad.
I'm more likely to eat it every day. I don't really go grocery shopping for like I only grow like every 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what most people do, but like, and I know you might not have this problem, but like the chips, you eat a lot of chips. You can eat a whole family bag of chips. I cannot. So if I get a family bag of chips, I put it into a container, but even then it still gets stale before I'm done. And the individual bags, they hardly have those. Like, they don't have a good selection of the smaller individual bags. You pretty much, if you want a certain brand and flavor of chips, you pretty much have to get the standard bag. But I can't finish a standard bag of chips, and I love chips. I love chips, but I don't really buy them because I cannot finish them before they're stale.
They do sell a small bag of Lay's chips in like 7-Eleven.
Yeah, but I have to go to 7-Eleven. I'm talking about the grocery store when I want to get everything at once. I should be able to get all the foods and supplies I need at one place, because that's what people do.
Yeah.
I should not have to stop at 7-Eleven just to get some chips and stuff. They should sell this in the store. In the grocery store. They should sell smaller proportions for single people. I'm not the only one. Come on, single people, let us know in the comments, and maybe we can come together and rise up against big grocery store and tell them we want smaller sizes. Because I would buy more. I buy less because I know I'm not going to finish it. But if they would sell smaller sizes, I would get multiple things of the smaller size. Because if it's still in the package, it's not going to go bad. It's just once you open the bags or the boxes, that's when it's going to spoil. Or it's going to get stale. And I want the same thing for milk. I swear they used to sell like a pint of milk. It seems like now I only ever see a half gallon. Let me know if y'all seen a pint of milk anywhere in a grocery store recently. I want a pint of milk. I don't want a half gallon. It goes bad. Pretty much every single half gallon I ever get, I never finish it. Because I want milk for my coffee, but I don't drink that much coffee. So it's like, I gotta get this whole half gallon, but it's gonna be bad in 2 weeks. And I'm not gonna finish it. Whereas if I was living with a family, it wouldn't be an issue. This grinds my gears.
Well, enough said. Okay, for this segment, we're gonna go back to SpongeBob and focus on one episode.
This is my favorite. I love our SpongeBob segments. Alright, what are we doing?
The Salty Spitoon.
Ah, man. Classic.
Yes.
Classic episode of SpongeBob. So funny. Okay, we gotta tell them what happened. How does this episode open? We got SpongeBob and Sandy.
Yeah. Hey.
They wanna go to the bar.
Yeah, that's called the Salty Spitoon. But the catch is you have to be tough in order to get into the bar.
It's a tough, like, biker bar type of situation, and you've gotta prove that you're tough enough to get in.
Yes.
Because I guess you just gotta go in there and fight people. I don't know why you gotta be tough.
Oh.
But so then you walk up to the guy, the bouncer at the door. Yeah. He says, "Welcome to the Salty Spitoon. How tough are you?"
And then the first guy was so tough, he actually ate a bowl of nails.
So?
Without any milk.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry to keep you waiting. A bowl of nails for breakfast. But if it's a bowl of nails with milk, that's not tough.
Yeah.
A bowl of nails without milk, now you're tough.
Yes.
So ridiculous. Okay, next in line is Sandy. How tough are you?
Oh, she actually ripped a Mount Serious tattoo. It's like the heart as his mom, and then just flipped it.
She ripped his tattoo off and turned it around, and it said, "Wow." And of course, he lets Sandy, and Sandy's a tough lady.
Yes.
A tough squirrel. But now it's SpongeBob's turn. And SpongeBob, well, he's not tough.
Yeah,
how tough are you?
Yeah, well, just to actually really give some context, back in the old episodes, he can actually lift 2 marshmallows on a stick.
He had a hard time with it, too.
Yeah. So, to prove how tough SpongeBob is, he asked for a bottle of ketchup.
And the guy gives it. He's like, okay. And he gives him the bottle of ketchup. And, oh, man, SpongeBob could not open that bottle of ketchup. He tried and tried. And he said, can I run this under some water or something?
No.
And the bouncer was not having it. He said, I don't think this is the place for you. How about you try across the street? And SpongeBob says, we have juniors. And he said, no, I'm sorry. I actually meant the place next door. Super Weedy Hut Juniors. Super Weedy Hut Juniors. He said, I am not a weenie. In the most weenie voice. I am not a weenie. And he is a weenie. But he goes right into Super Weedy Hut Juniors and sits in there with a bunch of losers.
Yes.
And just plotting. He's plotting on how to get into the Salty Spitoon.
Yeah.
And so he tries again.
This time with the disguise.
He needs a disguise. So what does he do?
Well, there was one that we thought was a disguise, but it turned out just been another SpongeBob with really cool hair.
Yeah. Some guy showed up. He looked exactly like SpongeBob, but like as if SpongeBob was wearing a disguise. But it turned out that wasn't SpongeBob.
Yes, he was wearing a clown afro. Wait.
Yeah, and that wasn't him. And what SpongeBob decided to do was to pretend to be a tattoo.
Yes.
He flattened himself and got onto some big guy's arm and pretended to be his tattoo. And of course that didn't work, and the bouncer peeled SpongeBob off, and he had to go back to Weenie Hut Juniors.
Yeah, that's where he actually met with Patrick in there.
Yeah, Patrick was in there, and then they were plotting, and he tried to get into the Salty Spitoon one last time.
Yeah, well, the robot racers actually gave him the idea of faking a fight.
Oh yeah, they should pretend to be a fight. That was what the robots said at Super Weenie Hut Juniors, and so that's what they do.
And what ended up happening was short to the point, Patrick faked being beaten up. And it was kind of realistic. It was like some sort of ghost that was just beating him up.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of the funniest thing.
It was absolutely ridiculous. But then SpongeBob gets in.
Yeah.
The bouncer lets SpongeBob into the Salty Spitoon. He runs inside.
And instantly slips on an ice cube.
And just knocks out. And they called an ambulance. They're rushing into the hospital. And apparently he was unconscious. Sandy told him what happened. And then the doctor asked SpongeBob what happened. He said, I ran and I slipped and got covered in boo-boos. And then the doctor said, boo-boo, son. Maybe you should try that hospital.
Weenie Hut
General! Oh, man, that was just, oh, I got the comedy on this one. Top notch.
Yes.
Top notch. Is Weenie Hut General a hospital for weenies? So let's tie this into real life as we do in this segment.
Okay.
What's the moral of the story?
I guess you just can't act tough.
I thought it was don't be a weenie.
Don't be a weenie.
Yeah. Stop being a weenie. I think that's the moral. Toughen up. Get into the salty spitoon.
Yeah, that could be it.
You think it's like be yourself? It just goes to the Weenie Hut Jr.?
I don't know. But if you ain't tough, you can't act tough, then the salted spitoon ain't for you.
I think that there's a lot of people out there that are in this type of situation, though. There's a lot of people who act tough and really aren't.
Yeah.
And, you know, they try to do things that's like getting into the salty spitoon, but it's really not for them.
Yeah, I used to act like that.
Okay. Then they, or just like not even just that, but like putting on a facade in order to do something, being not yourself, or as rappers would call it, selling out.
Yes.
I think that's very common in our culture. It's just doing what people are doing or what you think you should be doing, even if it's not what you want to do and it's not really you.
Yeah, exactly. I can relate to that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called trying to fit in.
Sure. And so, yeah, I think that this episode does have a strong tie to real life and the different things that you'll do to fit in. That, you know, a lot of people do that, especially on social media.
Oh, yeah. Social media is definitely a big way to actually try to fit in.
It's a huge proponent because people think that everyone cares about what everyone else is doing, when in reality, hardly anyone does.
Yes.
You've got just a few people in your life. You can probably count on one hand the number of people in your life that actually care what you're doing. Your milestones, what you're going through, your struggles, your tribulations, day to day. There's only a few people who actually want to hear about that. And nobody else actually cares.
No.
But it's like this whole... It's like the biggest joke, I think, on the internet is going on there and acting like anyone cares. That you got engaged or you got a promotion or whatever. Like, no one actually cares.
No.
No one actually cares. Your close friends and your family, your close family, are the only people who care about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But people on the internet be acting like everybody cares, and like that's the thing. Like, who can even keep up with all of it? You can't even go on social media and keep up with who's doing what all the time. It's always something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, you know, people, and then they want to play up how good their life is and how happy they are for social media. They put on this facade that everything is great, even if it's not, because they want to look good on social media. But the funny thing is, nobody even actually cares.
No, I guess so.
Any thoughts?
I think I said what I need to say.
Alright, well then that's connecting an episode of SpongeBob to real life.
Great.
Now we have another brand new segment. We're full of new segments today.
Oh, yeah, we are.
And for this one, we're doing album review.
Oh, so like we're reviewing music from an album.
Yes, Ricky V, that's self-explanatory.
Yeah, well, maybe most of our fans don't really know what we're talking about with
I
album review.
think when you say album review, it's pretty straightforward.
Ah, all right.
And for today's album review, we're reviewing Little Yachty's new album called Let's Start Here.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we both listened to this today for the very first time, straight through. And I've jotted down some notes. I've got some thoughts. You got some thoughts, Ricky?
Oh, yeah, I got some thoughts.
So I'm thinking we start with right at the very beginning, our very first impression, like without even listening to the album. I want to talk about the album art, the cover. What did you think of it?
Yeah. Uh, what I really think of it is it's like a mix of between his like very first debut album and the Yacht Club album.
I just thought
It's
it
like
looked really strange.
like to me it was just like it wasn't really as creative. It's like in between those two
I
albums.
I think it looked like it was created by AI. It didn't look
I wouldn't
real.
really.
It looked
I
very
mean,
strange, like how AI generates what people look like.
I wouldn't really necessarily call it like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's where it came from, and maybe he had an artist kind of touch it up a little bit, but it was like the main thing was generated by AI. That's what it looks like to me because I've seen a lot of AI art, and it looks like that. So
Yeah.
that's what I thought of the artwork, and I'm also before even listening to the album, I was looking at the track list, and the song titles are all very strange.
Yeah, like it's like some of them are like it's like uppercase and lowercase at the same time.
It literally looks like a child wrote it.
Now that is something I really liked.
You
Like
liked
it's kind of
that?
yeah, it's really creative. You don't really see a lot of artists doing stuff like
Yeah,
that.
because it looks childish and unprofessional. I think
Yeah,
there's
but
a
it
reason why
also
they don't do that.
but it also looks unique by comparison.
I guess so. I thought it was strange and it made it hard to read. Which seems like the
No, no,
opposite of what you want.
no. It was not hard to
It's
read. You could
hard to
actually still
read.
understand it.
If you look at it long enough, yeah, it takes a couple seconds to actually read it. You can't look at it at first glance because it's written very strange, like you just mashed on the keyboard. It's like he typed it really quickly and didn't go back and fix the typos. That's what it looks like to me. It's like he
You
didn't
just
proofread it. He just put it out the way it was.
well, you just don't really see creativity, I guess, because that is creative.
I don't think so. We've already got two differing opinions on this. All right. How about we talk very general about the album? I couldn't quite pinpoint what genre it is.
It's like some of the. It was like a mix between like pop and rock for me.
Yeah, it was like a lo-fi rock, like a soft rock
It's like
type of
it was like an
thing.
experiment. I mean, it's mostly an experimental track.
I just couldn't quite, maybe it's because I'm not familiar with the genre. It's not the type of music I usually listen to, so I can't quite put my finger on what it's called. I think it's some type of alternative. Maybe y'all can let us know in the comments what genre is this, because we do not fully know. Right, Reiki? You don't listen to this type of music either.
No, I don't.
Yeah, we don't really know anything about it. But my impression of listening to the whole thing, I've got a few thoughts of
All right.
actually listening to the album. The first thing I thought about it, like listening after the first two or three songs, was it kind of gave the vibe of Travis Scott meets Juice World. What do you think of that? It seems like a combination between the two of them to me.
I see more Juice World than Travis
Yeah, a
Scott.
little bit more Juice World, a little bit more moody type of lyrics and vibe to it. Very emotional. But like the style that he's singing in kind of reminded me of Travis Scott a little bit, like when he's singing, not when he's rapping.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of like. That's the general vibe I picked up on it, and it sounded kind of like almost sad. Like the lyrics, most of the lyrics in the songs were like pretty positive, but the way that they sound, it all sounds very sad. It's like not music. It's low energy, not something to dance to really, not something to like have fun to. Like you wouldn't put it on at a party, I don't think. Unless it's a party for a bunch of angsty teens. Because that's who I don't, I'm not sure where the demographic for this type of music and this type of album that Lil Yachty has put out, because it just gave angsty teen to me, like emo. I'm 16 and I'm emo. I'm
Nah.
16 and I paint my nails black.
I mean, some of the songs, okay, but not all of them.
I think pretty much the whole album like gave me that type of vibe. Like I like this isn't a phase. This is who I really am. Kind of vibe. That that was the energy that I was getting from it. It just felt like it wasn't for me. It didn't feel like it was for someone that knows who they are, or for someone that's secure in themselves, someone that has direction. It felt like
Yeah.
it felt like it was for people who were aimless, people who were unsure, insecure, and looking for purpose. And that isn't me. So it just didn't really, because of that, it didn't resonate with me. Maybe I can't even say if I was 16 I would have liked that. That wasn't the type of music I was listening to. But I was really expecting, I mean, Lil Yachty, isn't he more known for rap?
Yeah.
So this was like really strange that he did this. All this singing and stuff. It felt strange. Because, like, when I heard Lil Yachty put out an album, I was obviously expecting hip hop. And that is not what this is whatsoever. Well, what were your thoughts about the overall vibe, Ricky?
Um, I can't really say I don't really like majority of the tracks.
Yeah.
I didn't really the like majority of them. Although there's two that stuck out to me the most. It was Failure with the
Oh, the interlude?
frowny face.
Didn't he just talk?
Frowny face. Yeah, he did talk.
Yeah, that was just an interlude. That's not even a
And
song.
and there's another one. Drive Me Crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the only two I really liked.
It's so funny. One of the two songs that you liked wasn't even a song.
I don't know. It was
That's how
discussing
you
about
know
success and failure.
you just did
Like,
not like it. That's it.
uh, I mean, it was discussing about failure and
But
like
it
success,
wasn't
and
a
it's just like,
song. He was just talking.
yeah,
You
but
would you let me ask you this, Ricky? Would you put that in a playlist and listen to it with your other music?
no.
Exactly. You did not really like that. He was saying good stuff, but it wasn't really a song. He was just talking. He got on the microphone and was just talking with like music in the background. But
Yeah, but it was really good.
it wasn't a song. Like
Right, no, it
no
wasn't
one's
a
turning
song.
that on. No one's going to be like I want to listen to music and then they turn on that. Right?
I mean, yeah, right.
I don't think that counts. It wasn't I mean and most artists, a lot of artists do that on their albums. They put an interlude in and then they'll talk, maybe they'll do a funny skit. Eminem is known for that on his albums. He'll do little skits.
Uh,
Sometimes you'll have maybe there's a Megan the Stallion album where she has Juicy J on an interlude and he just talks.
oh yeah, and Drake did it for it was the album. It was the album released 2 years ago. I forgot the name of it.
If you're reading this, it's too late.
No, no, it's not that. It's
The one with
oh, it
the
was
pregnant
certified.
emojis.
Yeah, it was certified lover boy.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
See, I mean that's common, but that's not a song. An
Yeah, I know
interlude
it's
is
not a
not a
song.
song, so that doesn't count. Um, but I only have one last thought. Getting more into the songs, since we're talking about that. What did you think about how the songs faded into each other? Because I've got
It
some
felt
thoughts
like
about that. And
mm,
if you haven't listened to it, the songs he did that thing. It's not new. I've heard it many of times before, where the end of one song is the beginning of the next one.
oh yeah, right.
So,
Like it.
what did you
That's the
think of
one
that,
thing
Ricky?
I really liked that. It reminded me of Tyler the Creator album Igor,
I mean,
and like I listened to that album, and it's like it fades in and out, especially with the last track like fading into the first track. It
sure,
was like it felt like it was like telling a story, pretty much. And he's really creative.
but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Lil Yachty.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm actually saying. It was creative here.
I disagree, and here's why. I did not like that because, I think that makes sense. I mean, you're only how often are you gonna listen to an album straight through? Like you probably only do that once, right? And then you pick out the songs you want, you put them in your whatever playlists you have that you want to hear, and then that's it. So it really doesn't make sense to do that. Now, previously on other mediums, say vinyl records, say CDs, cassette tapes, you're going to listen to the whole thing. So to do that, it makes sense. But nowadays, everyone just puts the certain songs they want into a playlist. So you don't even listen to whole albums all the time anymore. So I don't think it really makes sense to do something like that. Then it just sounds weird. If you take that song where the end was the beginning was the end of another song, the end is the beginning of another song, and you just take that out, it no longer makes sense. Right? It's gonna sound weird without the previous song and the next song to sandwich it together. It now sounds weird, but that's how people listen to music now. You know, like if you're using Spotify or whatever, you're probably not listening to whole albums fully through. You listen to playlists. So I don't really think that it makes sense, and I think that it's a tired old thing. Like he's doing that like it's new, but it's not new. That's been done and done and done, like time and time again. That has been done. So I think it's time for, and that even in the future, I think it's time to go ahead and stop that for all artists, because it just doesn't make sense when we're gonna listen to the music digitally and we're just gonna move the songs around to fit into our playlists. I mean, I usually listen to all of my favorite songs in alphabetical order. So having the songs on the album fade into each other wouldn't matter to me, because I'm just going to listen to them in alphabetical order anyway. So
I never really thought about that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess as a concept, it also kind of sounded weird listening to it the as an album altogether. It seemed strange because like it sounded like another song was playing, and then all of a sudden it would cut off. And I thought something was wrong with my speaker or something, but then I check, and then all of a sudden the next song would start playing. I don't know, it was kind of, it just felt like, I don't know, disjointed to have it that way. And yeah, I wasn't crazy about the songs fading into each other like that. I think it was a strange choice, and I think this was a strange album. I mean, I'm not going to have that issue of having the song not make sense, because I'm not going to be listening to any of this. None of this is going in my regular rotation, so I guess to me it doesn't really matter. But, you know, for the people who really like this and they're in this demographic and it spoke to them, I think that they're going to have an issue with that. It's going to sound off. If you don't listen to the album straight through, it's just going to sound wrong. What do you think, Ricky?
I mean, maybe if I actually listen to it the second time, maybe, because, I mean, this has happened to me before with albums. It's like, at first, I'm trying to actually process it. But probably like the second time through, maybe I might like it, may not like it. Right now for me, I can't really give my own personal opinion if I like it or not. Because, like, I'm just trying to take it all in.
Yes, you can. You've already pretty much given it. You only like 2 songs. One of them wasn't a song. I think you know exactly how you feel. You know you don't actually really listen to this genre at all. This is not the type of music you listen to. So would you actually listen to this stuff again?
I mean, to give my overall review.
You're giving your overall review right now. How about we rate it?
I'm not ready to rate it just yet.
Ricky, this is the podcast.
I'm giving up to you.
We're not going to talk about this again. Rate it out of 10.
Fine, 4.
I say.
Or maybe like, actually, you know what? 5 for the creativity.
I'm giving it a 3.2 out of 10. That's 32%. I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit. I don't think that it was for me. So maybe that's not fair to say. That would be like, you know, putting on a Disney movie that came out recently and saying I don't like it. You know, like it's obviously not for me. So it's not really fair to say that it's bad. I'm not going to say that it's bad because I know that there's plenty of people out there who this is going to speak to, and it's probably not going to be Lil Yachty's regular fans. I think
no, of course not.
that's kind of the cool thing about it, I think, is that he's kind of opening himself up to a whole new fan base with this. Because his regular fans are probably not going to like this. But there's a bunch of people who have never listened to Lil Yachty who are now going to like him because this is the type of music that they listen to. So, if his thing was to make some more money, I think this makes a lot of sense. If that was the purpose of this, or if this is just the direction he wants to go in with his career, either way, it was a smart choice to go ahead and do that because this is going to completely broaden his whole fan base. He's going to get way more digital streams, I think, because of this. Because his previous fans, his current fans, are going to keep listening to his old music, all of his older stuff. And now he's also, on top of that, going to have all new fans that like this soft rock, alternative, pop, whatever it's called, type of music. And yeah. So I guess we should now give, so I said 3.2 just because it's just not for me. But I know that this is there's plenty of people out there who listen to this and they were like, I love this album. This is now my favorite album ever. Which is, that's kind of crazy for me to think about because I did not like it. But, all right, let me close out this segment with our final thoughts on, what is this called? Lil Yachty's. Let's start here.
Yes.
Final thoughts.
I mean, one song, I guess. But there's only one thing that this album doesn't really have. You know what that is? Poland. His single that dropped in October. You heard of it?
No.
You never heard of Poland?
Poland?
Yeah, Poland.
Like the country?
Yes, that country, Poland. Okay, but that's a story for another time.
All right. Yeah.
But I gotta say one thing.
Okay.
First hearing, I don't really like the album, but at the same time, I like the album, which is why I rated it a 5, because of the creativity and the experimenting. It's nice to see artists branch out into new genres, like not just stick with one genre, and completely risk backlash. You know the implications of switching between genres. Old fans are not really gonna like it, but you want to broaden out to new people and their music genres that they really like. And he took the risk, and I respect him for that. That's why I think this album is probably going to be trending. And it's probably going to pick a number one on Spotify for one of the best albums of 2023.
Yeah, probably.
I see potential in that. Yes.
Yeah, I think, final thoughts. I wasn't crazy about it. But again, I'll say it just wasn't for me. I'm not who this album was for. So, hey, if it spoke to you, let us know in the comments. What did you think of this new Lil Yachty album? And did it speak to you? Were you surprised to hear this from him? Were you already a fan if you did like it? Did you already like Lil Yachty, and are you a hip hop fan? And this just also, you happen to like this? Or were you not a Lil Yachty fan, but this spoke to you and now you like this? Let us know. Or if you're a Lil Yachty fan and you hated it and wish he would just rap, let us know that too.
Alright.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Take It With a Grain of Sand. Hope to see you again soon. And always remember to take it
with a grain of sand.
Yeah, what she said.